where we take a dumpster dive on this week's Garbage People and look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erica, and I'm your host.
Sorry. I was yawning. It wasn't because of you, though. My name is Cassandra, and I'm your other host.
High energy out the gate.
Apparently, I'm sleepy. It's crazy is that this is like the latest we've recorded our podcast in a really long time. It's around 4 p.m. And normally we've been doing it like really early. And I'm just, look, y'all, I'm a morning person. What do you want from me?
It's time for my mid-afternoon nap before my first dinner and my sup, and then my second nap, and then I go out at 11 p.m. because I live Barcelona life. I live Barcelona
Really just
life.
breezing through nap time, aren't we? Okay. Okay.
Gotta take care of yourselves. You're getting older, girls. Can't skip your nap. Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm in a position where people are like, "Hey, how are you?" And instead of just being like, "Everything's fucking awful and it's on fire and I'm done," I have to be like, "It's better now that I see you. How are you?" Like, it's not good, but I'm really good at giving. Everything's great. It's a gift. What can I say?
Yeah.
My therapist called me a master compartmentalizer, and I said, "Thank you." And they said, "That's not a compliment, Erica." I was like, okay,
well, thanks.
Well, thanks. I'll deem what is and is not a compliment.
Guess I don't need to hire an organizer anymore.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm really fine. Yeah, no, I'm doing good.
Okay. Good. My goodness.
What? Why are you trash?
Yeah. Okay, so I was just thinking back, and in university, you had to take 2 science classes. I don't remember what my other one was, but I took a class that was natural history, and it counted as a lab science. Everyone else had to do like chemistry and hard labs. Our class was a lecture, and then our lab portion to get the lab credits, the 5 credits or whatever. Our professor was writing a paper about squirrels or research proposal, whatever. So,
and whether or not they're good eating. Sorry, you're from Oklahoma.
I guess just whether they eating good.
Yeah.
So, what he asked us to do was at the same time, twice a week, we were to all go to different plots on campus. Like I had this square at 3:00. Everyone was supposed to do different portions at 3:00. And we were just supposed to count how many squirrels we saw for 30 minutes. Tuesdays at 3:30, I'd go sit on the lawn and I'd count squirrels. And people were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm in class. I'm doing homework.
This is like it's equivalent to like a botany teacher being like, "Okay, everyone needs to come and clean my weeds, do my own weeds."
It truly, it was the easiest science class it's natural history.
What do you
interesting to
know?
me? Nothing.
What do you know about? Yeah, that's so.
Saber-tooth tigers were big. Certain squirrels have a tail that's split in two because of this, and others have a bushy tail. Like there was interesting stuff. I mean, I did fine on the test, but my lab was just sitting down on the lawn counting squirrels, and I'd be like, "Oh, got one. Check mark."
I was in an English class in college, and this English teacher was like super into surfing. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast before. She was so into surfing that every like essay and thing that we had to do for class was either like on a book about surfing or after watching surfing movies. And I was like, okay. It was just your like required general education, like English 101. So it was like fine, I guess. But I was like, I don't like, I could have used a post high school. I graduated high school a long time ago. When I was in college. I was like, I could have used like a refresher on how to write essays, and I didn't. All I did was learn more about surfing.
Yeah.
And I learned nothing about like indents, commas, things that you should probably learn in English 101. Yeah. College is,
It's a mixed bag, and it's just
Unpoliced.
it's unpoliced, and they'll just let you take out hundreds of thousands of dollars
So much money to go there
of
to just
debt.
really roll the dice. It's gambling.
You can't legally rent a car until you're 25. You can't drink alcohol in the United States till you're 21. But at 18,
Oh
you
man, you can fuck your life.
you can fuck your life up, and we'll send you, and we'll also enroll you in the army. Like, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Anyway, why are you trash?
So I was back at my nail salon. A nuisance as usual.
Oh God, those women need like PTSD therapy from you.
They like me.
Sure. I bet you think the dancers like you too. Sorry.
I don't get that.
Like stripper. Like, I bet you think strippers like you too.
They do.
I know, of course. You're charming.
Yeah. So I'm in there, surprisingly not going into a fit of coughing or having diarrhea in their toilet, just really being like a normal customer. Although I did say, hey, for my mani and pedi today, I don't want to do it all at once. So I was there for like 3 hours because so it was inconvenient in that way. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. We need to start standing up for ourselves. I know that it's more convenient for you to do my manicure and my pedicure at the same time. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take it anymore. So anyways, I was in there and I got my manicure done. And then I, waddled on over to the massage chair for my pedicure. And I brought a book with me to, show everyone there how much I'd grown and my superiority,
of course,
et cetera, et cetera. I was done. I'd watched 3 episodes of Leave It or List It already that were playing on the TV above my manicure. I was like, I'm going to tune this out. It's time to read. And I started reading, except another person came in sat next to me, and she was getting manicure, pedicure at the same time. And the ladies obviously seemed to know her also. She was greeted with the same fanfare that I normally am, which is fine. And this woman starts to talk about how it was her first time. The last time that she was there, it was her first time doing gel polish. And how she was like, I can't, like, it was really nice to have it. And, I was so hesitant, but it really makes sense. Like, now I get it. And I wanted to turn to her and be like, what is this, bitch? 2012? You just tried gel now? What the fuck? But I was like, no, keep reading your book. So then I'm back in my book, and, I was just like, focus on the book. Don't let this woman, don't let her ruin your day. Don't let her ruin your spa day.
Right.
And then, so the nail tech was like, so do you want to do gel again? Like, what are we doing today? Why are you here?
Right.
Which I'm asking myself the same thing. And she was like, I don't know. Like, let me just see what my nails look like underneath. And I wanted to be like, what is this, bitch?
Yeah.
2012? Like, you don't know. Like, your nails are fine. That's the whole point of gel. Like, anyways, I was like, no, stick to your book.
Yeah.
And then finally, the lady was like, okay, so what color do you want to do? She was ushered right into the chair. She didn't have time to pick a color. It is what it is. But then she goes, oh, gosh, I don't know. What do you think we should, like, she had like literally like plain, like the color was plain on what she had on her nails before. She like her first time gel, and she went for like a nude, but not even like an interesting nude. Like, I think she like went for like matte and whatever skin color, that she had. And so she's like, gosh, I don't know. And the ladies were like, well, do you want to try red? Red is always classic. And she's like, oh gosh, I don't know. Oh, I'm scared. Red.
I hate her.
I'm like, what is this, bitch?
Yeah.
2012.
I hate her.
You're afraid of red? Jesus. That's what everyone gets. That's a classic color. What do
Yeah.
you think? You're going to walk out of here and get a scarlet letter? The fuck are you worried about? Red nail polish. Needless to say, it hampered my pedicure because I was like, well, my purse is behind me. I don't think I could reach it, but I bet one of the girls would give it to me. I was like, in there where my noise canceling headphones are.
I was about to say, my move is I put the headphones noise canceling on, no sound, and then I do the book so that I stay encumbered.
I don't know what I was thinking. I should have put the headphones on, but it was just kind of like everything had been going so well that I didn't think I was going to need them. And at this point, like my polish was going on, so I only had a couple more, but I needed it to let it dry because I don't do gel on the toes,
Me
because
neither.
like why
Worth
would anybody do that? It's a
money.
waste of money.
Waste.
But oh God, I was just like trying. I read the same paragraph like 4 times. My reading comprehension was shot because I was so fucking annoyed at this woman next to me, who's acting like a fucking delicate flower, who's never been to a nail salon before since 2012. I don't know. It pissed me right off. And I know you're listening to this and you're going, "Gosh, Cassandra's kind of a bitch." I don't know what to fucking tell you. You would have bugged you too. I promise. If you were there and you would have experienced it, it would have bothered you too. You're just gonna have to trust me on this, listeners.
Some people just weren't raised right.
Yeah, and speaking of being bothered and raised wrong, let's go into our first story. How about it?
That sounds great. From foreverloveanimals.com. Couple claims restaurant penalized them for inadequate parenting. A subsequent revelation by restaurant owner.
So Georgia restaurant sparks debate after they charge people a quote parenting fine. This is a Toccoa Riverside restaurant in North Georgia, and they charged these people an extra $50 on their bill due to their children's behavior.
That's fantastic. The restaurant owner, Tim Rickshaw, was approached for comment, and he clarified the situation. According to him, while the establishment did implement a surcharge during the COVID-19 pandemic to meet extra costs, they had never actually fined a customer for their child's behavior before. He mentioned one incident where a family brought 9 children who were particularly disruptive but noted they had only received a warning. We want parents to be parents. So, the restaurant is situated amidst the tranquil setting of the Toccoa River and the mountains. It's accustomed to a more serene crowd. It's not just a restaurant policy. It's a societal question about whether or not you consider respectful behavior.
In the article, there's a photo, and it shows, which I don't know if it's the kid in question or anything. I hope not, since like the kid's not like blurred out or anything. But it does show just like some little toddler just like laid out on the floor,
Yeah.
in the middle of everything. And so the debate is like basically over whether it's fair to financially penalize parents for their children's misconduct while dining out, or if it's just kids being kids. As a former waitress for 10 years, I gotta be honest, I feel like putting a parenting fine on a table, because it's like, it would be freeing in a way to be able to do that, because the amount of like, especially when I worked in brunchy restaurants, the amount of times that I almost had like an entire tray of food or dishes or drinks knocked out of my hand because someone's child is running loose in the restaurant and they're not doing anything about it. It's kind of crazy because it's like, and I've never had a toddler before, so maybe I don't know 100%, but I don't remember being able to act like that. I think the most trouble I ever got into was when we went to a specific restaurant, like the whole family, me and my cousin Elizabeth would probably waste too much time fucking around in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
There was always bathroom fuck around time.
yeah, but like, I don't know. There's a culture of parenting, maybe gentle parent. I don't know. I don't even want to. I'm not going to even loop gentle parenting into it. I don't know what the style is.
Yeah.
But there's like there's everyone in between who's got their kids on lock, and then there's iPad parents who you're like, that kind of bums you out.
Yeah,
And but maybe but you have to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they're doing it for a reason.
do they have headphones on?
That's a fucking huge question, because the benefit of the doubt leaves the moment that that kid doesn't have headphones on.
Yep.
But yeah, then there's those kids that just they run
Yeah.
loose and wild, and the parents are having like a full-blown conversation. It's like, do they think they live here? Like, I don't know, it's just really weird.
Yeah.
So in those situations, I'm like, man, it would be kind of cool to put like, give them a warning of like, hey, just so you know, we do charge a fine.
Mm-hmm.
And if your kid runs into a waiter again, potentially like putting the waiter and your children in danger, we're gonna fine you. Like, oh, how sweet that would be.
As a former child, I'd like to weigh in on this. And the fact is, anywhere I set my feet down is my home, and I'm free to roam. Diaper and all. I'm gonna whip that thing off in the middle of the restaurant, fling it around. Yeah, that's my stance. That's my stance. As a former child, I'm taking up for the kids.
So you're saying, so what you're saying, you're kind of agreeing with me that like it's a parent's responsibility.
Oh no. I'm pro-child. I'm saying that this is the only time in their lives that
Well,
they
the
can.
child's not going to pay the fucking bill, so I don't think anyone is anti-children in this debate.
I'm just saying, I want to just give them sugar before they go into the restaurant. I just want to spin them up like little tops. This is the only time in their lives they get to completely act like this with almost no real consequences.
Until they become in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I have to stop
Hey,
slamming
really
boomers
do.
here.
Now, I will say the worst I ever behaved in a restaurant was we went to a restaurant called Garfield's a lot. Garfield's is like a Shoney. It was kind of like an upscale Chili's, kind of, an all-day diner, an Applebee's, that type of thing. But
Sure.
they brought out paper and they put it over the tables. Like just big parchment, paper. And then they brought out crayons and you could draw all over it. And then when you were done eating, they bundled that shit up, threw it away, put down a new sheet of paper for the next patrons, right? Well, I took a bunch of the crayons home. Put them in. I was a purse kid from when I started crawling. I was like, can I get a backpack on? Can I get a backpack? Like, I have stuff I need to bring with me. I could be going across the road to my grandma's house. I had a wheelie suitcase I was taking with me. I needed my things. So I had a little purse, probably 5, 6 years old, maybe 4. Had my little purse. I'm drawing with the crayons at the restaurant. I throw a bunch of them in my purse. We get on. My mom finds the crayons. And instead of just being like, hey, we need to leave those for the next people. Don't do this again. She whipped that car around, drove back to Garfield's. I had to look the manager in the eye and apologize for stealing crayons. Oh, yeah. You guys like that woman that always sends in stories, Tina Curry? You guys like her, huh? She made me look a dead-eyed 40-year-old in the eyes and apologize for stealing crayons. And he was just like, okay, that's not a big deal. Like, he didn't give a shit, but he had to
those crayons get busted, put in the trash.
Yeah. I had to hand them back. Anyway, I love you, Mom. It was so jarring. I've never not thought about that day. Anyway, I know. I was trying to avoid being in trouble, I guess, and I had to face the consequences.
Speaking of stealing,
yeah,
from the MiamiHerald.com, an Uber driver left a car running for 3 weeks to avoid rental payments.
A Florida Uber driver is accused of using a stolen rental car to give rides and then leaving the car running for weeks to avoid it being disabled, deputies say. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Bad criminal. Brilliant minds.
So, I mean, that's the story. There's a lot more here, but that's the story.
Yeah.
What my qualms with this, because honestly, trashy might just need to turn into complainy. What the fuck, Uber? Like, how did this even happen? Like, was he already an Uber driver?
He was already
prior.
Yeah, it seems like he was already. He had a rental car because Uber does a thing where they'll lease or rent you cars because it's a debtor's prison. It's terrible. But he was renting it from the company in Orange County. He stopped making the payments. And
okay, so he was renting it from Uber.
I think so. That's what I'm gathering. So it seems as if the The rental company reported the vehicle stolen, the deputy said. They called the driver every day about the missing payments. And then instead of returning it, he chose to leave it running to prevent it being disabled.
But
So they
if
couldn't
they're the
track it
ones who
down.
are if they're the ones who are renting to him, couldn't they
Oh.
have found him?
Clarification. They were not renting from Uber. It was just a,
It was
Hertz
just
or
a rent.
whatever.
Okay, so that's what I thought. So
Yeah.
my statement still stands. What the fuck, Uber? Was he already like said that he was an Uber driver, and so it's like, oh, this guy's gonna come pick you up, and he's gonna show up in a Toyota Corolla, and then someone shows up in a Chevy Equinox and goes, oh yeah, my Toyota Corolla's in the shop, and then you're like, okay, whatever, and then they just get in, or did he like sign up for Uber, take pictures of the Chevy Equinox, and because Uber does nothing to protect you,
Not a
I'm
damn
just gonna
thing.
say it, they don't do background checks, they don't do test drives with the drivers, they don't do shit. Say what you will about Uber versus Lyft, but Lyft definitely does a lot more. I think anyone with a heartbeat and a driver's license can become an Uber driver. And that's what's crazy here. Is it like, so you've got this person driving Uber for 3 weeks in a stolen car.
So when he got pulled over and surrounded by the deputies, there was a couple that he was giving an Uber ride to. And the Uber was like, impounded. So they were basically stranded. They had to be given rides by the deputies after posing for photos.
Yeah, it was this couple from the UK that were on the way to a wedding. Or no, they were visiting a hotel because they were about to have a wedding. It doesn't matter. It's a UK couple, something to do with a wedding, and then they had to like pose for pictures. I mean, maybe they were the ones who asked for pictures.
Sure.
But it's still a weird vibe. Like, come on, Florida. People are coming from other countries. Like, let's not let them get pulled over in stolen Ubers, But I don't think anything really exemplifies the US of A more than this Facebook post that you found. It is I'll go ahead and call it a personals ad. No?
Sure. Yeah. So this is Billy Little, and
We're
he
naming
says,
him.
Oh yeah.
Fuck it.
He says
He put himself out there.
I'm trying to help him get a wife. So
Sure.
he says, God has instructed me to take a wife to be as a helpmate in my ministry and to birth more children for me. I have over 9K followers, so let's give this a try.
Nothing ever comes from someone saying, let's give this a try.
When they were testing the atom bomb, they're like, let's give this a try. I don't know, spin it up.
On the internet, like, people try to act so bashful, like, guess I'm gonna try this, shrug, and it's like, shut the sorry. God, I'm not well in the 4 p.m. hour.
My name is Dr. Billy Little. I'm 78 years old, and I'm an alpha male Christian Republic seeking single white females age 18 to 25. Must be Christian, all caps virgin, lower caps Republican, submissive, and unemployed. Willing to take care of my motel room while I'm out ministering. No tattoos, no piercings, or Harry Potter fans allowed. Where do I send in my inquiries?
Christians liked Harry Potter now because she like hates trans people so much. Am I wrong?
It's still about witchcraft. Yeah, can't. Yeah, still about witchcraft. Can't fuck with it. That's how you let the devil in.
A 78-year-old man who allegedly has his own ministry. I say allegedly because he also sounds like he's living out of a motel room. Is looking for a white woman between the ages of 18 and 25 who is Christian, a virgin, a Republican, a submissive, and unemployed. So, and then, yeah, no tattoos, piercings, or Harry Potter fans. But he's basically looking for, like, someone who can, like, the unemployed thing is the thing, shockingly, that bothers me the most.
Oh, he wants you home. He doesn't want you to have career ambitions. He wants a
I don't even know if it's that, babe. I think that he wants someone who doesn't have any other commitments and potential, like, friends to tell her that her situation is weird.
Oh, 100%. But
Because if you go to work every day, you might talk to your coworkers, and they might be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Oh, you're marrying the 78-year-old Christian minister who has been told by God to take a wife to mate more children. Sir, 18 to 25 are men. You gotta appreciate his boldness, I suppose.
Need him fertile. Nah, this guy looks disgusting. Like, I'm not trying to look shame anyone, but his face looks like I'm angry. But
He looks like if Santa Claus had his
had a
whole
criminal
wig
record.
snatched,
Yeah.
thus leaving a bald and sad that his wig snatched happened. Like, he's bald, Santa
Prison
Claus.
Santa.
Yes, Santa Claus, white beard, glasses, and kind of like the picture he chose, like maybe he's wearing some sort of like fleece or turtleneck, but it kind of just looks like a floating head in the middle of like a black tablecloth or something.
Listen, if you're gonna ask a woman to marry you, make sure you know where your car is. A little advice for Minister Billy here.
I have to say one more thing.
Okay, please. I'll take it back.
To people who have impossible standards, why don't you wipe your own ass first? You know what I'm trying to say when I say that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to say,
Make sure your side of the street's clean before you. Yeah.
you got a big list of demands here, Dr. Billy Little, 78, alpha male Christian Republican.
He wants
You're
a
looking for,
bang maid. It's always sunny.
like, he's looking for a very young girl who has to meet all of these qualifications. Wipe your own ass. Do you think you deserve that? I mean, first of all, no one deserves like anything because I don't know what to say. It just grosses me the fuck out, Erica. Makes me sick. And honestly, I feel like someone ought to take this guy for all he's worth and just, see what happens.
I like to think this is two sides of the same coin. This story. This is like Robin's Dancing on My Own and Call Your Girlfriend. These two stories.
Yes.
So our next
I
story
agree.
is from riverfronttimes.com. St. Louis man asks woman to marry him, and then she steals his car.
A St. Louis County woman is facing a felony charge for stealing an 83-year-old man's car, but she says that she had a good excuse for taking that 2008 Chevy Uplander because that man had proposed marriage and she needed to take a drive to clear her head.
No notes. Like, yeah, sure. Take a drive. Take a 2008 Chevy Uplander.
From an 83-year-old. So she's in her mid-40s. At some point, she moved in with this 83-year-old man, and then he proposed.
Mhm.
She never said yes or no, but she took the car around 4 a.m., a quote, without his permission or knowledge, and then he reported it stolen.
Runaway fiance.
I mean, she shouldn't have taken it like an hour before he was going to wake up,
Yeah, I feel like maybe her heart wasn't in it to begin with, though.
2008 Chevrolet Uplander, by the way, is a minivan.
Oh.
Kind of a boxy looking minivan. And Kelley Blue Book rates it 3.4 out of 5. So, it's really not much to steal, I don't think.
No, but you know who won't steal from us?
I don't know if I agree with that.
The fine people that choose to advertise with the Trashy podcast.
Okay.
Services will not steal from us. Or you, dear listener. So let's take
Do we want to promise that?
You know what? Everything's with an asterisk. Allegedly, asterisk. What are the other words that we pretend mean that we're not in any legal trouble?
Look, I love our advertisers, but I hate corporations. Time for an ad break. Erica, do you have any concerts coming up?
Always. I'm a festival girly, I have to get the VIP, though, because I cannot go without an air-conditioned bathroom.
Okay, well, my sweet angel, planning for faster and efficient hydration is also essential for festivals. And Liquid IV has you covered while you prep before, power through that headliner, and recover after the weekend.
Hey, now don't count yourself out while you're drunk poolside all summer, Cass. Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water and with 3 times the electrolytes than traditional sports drinks.
I mean, we really have no excuses. Liquid IV is actually standard in my purse. It goes phone, wallet, keys, Liquid IV.
And with flavors like lemon lime, pastique, that's French for watermelon, and my favorite, strawberry lemonade, staying hydrated is easy peasy.
Mama, I'm talking B3. I'm talking B5. I'm talking B6. And I'm screaming from the rooftops, B12.
They've got all the B's.
And there's a little bit of vitamin C in there too, just for kicks.
Oh, she's made from premium ingredients and is free from gluten, dairy, and soy.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I'm vegan now. I don't know if I've talked about that yet.
We know. Okay. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code TRASHY at checkout.
That's 20% off of anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code TRASHY at liquidiv.com.
Honestly, we're so trashy, we're hydrated.
Wet trash.
All right, and we're back. So this next story has me running laps in my mind. From the NewYorkPost.com, woman who missed flight runs onto tarmac to catch plane in dramatic footage.
So this female traveler decided to run onto the airport tarmac in a harebrained attempt to prevent a plane from leaving her behind. I have to know, what was the long game here? Because it's not like a bus where they just stop and open the door and you just hop on. Like, it takes a lot to get on a plane.
They were going to throw down that inflatable slide and she was just going to crawl up it. That was the plan.
Was it Liar Liar where he's riding the stairs next to the plane? I see
probably. Yeah, I see a
Jim
90s,
Carrey
yeah.
and I see a 90s movie and they're going alongside, and I think it was Liar Liar because like his ex-wife or whatever was about to take his kid away
Sure.
to wherever her villain new boyfriend wanted to go.
Who was probably just like stable and normal. If we watched it again, we'd be like, I'm kind of on the boyfriend's side, I assume.
100%. We need to reevaluate a lot of stuff because I think there's a lot of stable new relationships in a lot of these movies that we have villainized.
Yeah.
When these are just people who are coming into a hard situation and doing their best. But that's not what we're talking about, right? So this woman is on the tarmac. She's chasing after a plane, right? And she's trying to get the pilot's attention, which he does stop eventually. Probably because people were like, can you stop? There's a woman on the tarmac, you know? But then not to let her on. It's to send her to jail. So.
Yeah, babe. My goodness. I mean, it's not the 80s. It's not the 80s anymore.
There's got to be more to it. Potentially a time traveler situation. Obviously, that's a big, thing. But also, maybe someone on that flight, like, stole something valuable from her.
But like
she had to get it back.
The Hope Diamond? I mean, maybe, I guess, like, my phone's pretty valuable. I returned a phone to a guy today. Found it on the ground. Got it back to him. Felt like a good Samaritan.
What'd he say?
Oh my God, thank you so much. I lost my phone. And I said, oh, you should find my iPhone. And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess I haven't learned my lesson. And I'm like, bitch, turn that on.
Wash your ass, sir.
Wash your ass, sir. I returned a Cartier bracelet to a lady this week that I found.
Was it a Cartier, though, or was it that, like, very famous dupe? Or is it that famous? Or maybe it's just something you have. And to me, it's very famous. Don't you have, like, some sort of, like, very good dupe of something? Am I calling you out? I'm pretty... Don't you have some fucking bracelet that, like,
I do.
Looks exactly like an expensive one?
Yep. Yep. Yes, I do. Yep. Anyway, moving on. So our next story from... That wasn't widespread knowledge, but no, I'm not ashamed of it. It's just
it needs to be said though that because you have it, I was like, oh, this is quite a known thing. I'm no better than anyone else who says like, oh, that they are saying this because I read like one headline. Like that's basically my energy.
They say who
who says that. Oh, God. Well, what makes you the expert, All right. So from Unilad.com, we have a victim whose phone got snatched by a man on a motorcycle. And so then said victim decides to steal that guy's motorcycle. Because, an eye for an eye, baby.
Again, Jim Carrey movie plots. Like, this is the second theme of the show.
It's or like a little bit Pink Panther. I don't know. It's very goofy.
Yeah. A man decided to steal an unsuspecting guy's phone, but karma quickly came to bite him in the ass.
This guy was walking down the street in Manila, Philippines, when he had his phone snatched off of him. And upon the attempt to rob his phone, this guy and the robber ended up in an altercation. And while he didn't get his phone back, he did manage to get his hands on the keys of the motorcycle, which he promptly took off on and rode it to a local police station, basically leaving his cell phone with the suspect. So it's like, if you'd like your bike back, you're going to have to bring my phone to the police station where your bike is at right now. Put that robber in a pretty big catch-22 because it's a lot easier to replace a phone, I think, than a motorcycle.
Probably so. But who knows? I mean, I just don't like thieves. Am I thieving the good people of Cartier by having a very passable dupe that has been authenticated? Maybe. But I really feel like thieves should get theirs,
Well, lucky for you, we have another story from Unilad because as I was reading this first story, they alluded to the second story. And I was like, well, certainly we need to cover that.
Of course.
And it has to do with a mother who is taking big steamers inside Amazon parcels to get revenge on a thief.
I hate a package thief. Some ruffians have been caught on a Ring doorbell and named and shamed, whilst others have rigged their Amazon parcels with fart spray and glitter to cause a mess.
Do you ever see those TikToks with the fart spray glitter guys?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just don't like. I hate the Ring footagefication of the world.
Those TikToks are so long.
Yeah, I want to see 15 seconds. A guy walks onto the porch, opens it up, fart spray glitter, moving on.
It's truly like the last minute is interesting, but they have to go into like, so here's how we built it. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck how you built this. You put a shitty Android in and you rigged it up with a motor. And he's like, and we tested it and it didn't work the first time. Then we did it again. It's like, oh my God, I believe you. I don't care. Just show me what happened.
Well, this lady took it to a whole other level and she put human feces in the packages.
So this woman's daughter from New York released a TikTok in 2021 explaining the situation that her and her mother had been faced with. She started off by saying that someone had stolen all of our Amazon packages from the front of the house and that they had the culprit on the Ring camera. And that he'd even come back a few times, blatantly taking the parcels, despite knowing that he was in the full sight of the doorbell. He just didn't care. I mean, after a certain while, I guess, why should you care?
Mm-hmm.
You're already a package stealer. I'm sure that the Ring camera might deter some people, but I think it's obvious at this point that some people just don't give a fuck.
No. Here's my thing about those two. I guess if I'm on your property, but like I feel like there should be signs saying like you are being recorded. Some of them have announcements. So if you step into someone's property line, they go, you are being recorded by da da da. And they kind of let you know. But I don't like the fact that I could be on somebody's Ring just by walking by, not even doing anything. I just don't like this surveillance state that we're turning into. And Amazon owns all that fucking footage. You guys know that, right? It's just, I don't like it.
I think that's where it gets me fucked up. I mean, we all know I hate the government. I don't trust the government, but I also don't trust corporations more. Sometimes those things go hand in hand. But, like in Europe, there's CCTV everywhere.
But know that.
Right. And that's, for some reason, makes me feel more comfortable. It makes me feel more comfortable that, like, for better or for worse, these elected officials are because look, I mean, they've been doing this shit since whatever the Patriot Act. So like, I know that's happening. What I don't like because I don't really like that either. But what I really don't like is, that like Jeff Bezos has all this footage. You know what really bothers me lately? They have these new Google phones now that have like AI on the phone, so you can kind of adjust people's pictures and stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Don't ever take a photo of me with your phone.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
But you just like, you can't control that. And so you kind of have to like pick your own, your own captor. Like I've chosen Apple and I don't know why, but I have.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so you have a ring. Anyways, this is not what the story is about. Okay. It's not conspiracy. It's trashy. And this lady started shitting in Amazon boxes, taping them back up, and then they would get stolen.
I wonder if you could sue for intentional contamination or you know what I mean? Like
in this country, I
sue
bet
her.
you could. Because remember, there was that one woman who somebody had broken into her house, and so she stabbed them, and then she ended up going to jail for assault.
Yeah.
That I almost feel like that could happen here, where like you shit in this package, and now because you shit in this package, I have hepatitis. I'm going to sue you for giving me hepatitis, when it's like, but you stole that from me. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyways, whoever stole the package of shit turned out to not even be the original guy. So it was just some other asshole who was stealing packages from them. So the mom's reaction was like, oh, all good. I'm just going to shit in another box.
And the mom says, this shit ain't over, off camera in the TikTok. And that's how they ended they ended her. That's how they ended her. But I think we should begin something.
Well, as you know, if you subscribe to our Patreon, I'm offering the first 10 people who sign up for our Patreon their own fan fiction that I write, because it's fun for me. And there are some more slots left for this. Patreon is new. I'm not ashamed to say that. So if you want your own fan fiction, you know what to do. But we have one now for Patreon subscriber. We also are making ourselves available for Apple subscription and Spotify subscriptions, which, is another way to, if you sign up for one of these, it's another way to get into that fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've got one of our subscribers here. And Erica, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to need some sort of ambiance that says, I don't know, teen movie?
Okay. Upbeat yet optimistic, slightly perky, but like doop. Yeah, I got you. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe like, Manic Pixie Dream. No, I can't give it away. Carolyn D wasn't anything special. At least that's what she told herself. Sure, she had stop you in the street good looks, thick flowing hair, a body that didn't quit, and was the smartest person in her entire college, but she was still just the girl next door. After grabbing a second sweatshirt on her way out the door to class, she was always cold. She went through her checklist for the day. Number 1, stay awake during Professor Henderson's art lecture today. Number 2, don't be late for your barista shift at the local Java stop. And number 3, don't, under any circumstances, have a conversation with the librarian. After surviving the art lecture, even being moved by a couple of the pieces about romance, Carolyn made her way to work. She had some time to spare and thought maybe, just maybe, she could get away with checking something else out to avoid the librarian, going against the original plan to just use the book drop on her way home from work. They probably aren't even working today, she thought to herself. So up she went, the grand stone staircase, into her happy place, the library, and inside she was hit with that all too familiar smell of books. Okay, just return your book, get a new one, and leave, she repeated over and over again, hoping that it could come true. She returned her book, she picked up a new one, something about dragons, and then she went to check it out. But oh man, there they were, the librarian. The smile lit up the whole room, sending chills up her spine and making her wish she'd grabbed a third hoodie this morning. Her loins were heavy enough to bring her to the ground.
haven't heard these yet. I haven't read these in advance.
Come on, God, it's bad taste for me to laugh at my own writing. All right.
Carry on.
Hey, Carolyn, the librarian called, closing their station to the rest of the line and allowing Carolyn to cut. This was helpful if she were still thinking about getting to the Java stop on time, but right now all she could think about was whether or not she should run towards the librarian and jump their bones, or run out the front door. Hey, Carson! Such a perfect, non-gender specific name. Groans from people in line became audible as Carolyn took her VIP place at the desk. Oh, I like this one, the librarian said, raising Carolyn's book. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get into dragons, Carolyn said. So fucking stupid. Oh, well, if you like dragons, I might have something in the back you would want to take home. Oh, really? A secret book stash. Carolyn couldn't possibly be more aroused. Yeah, maybe I can show you. Hey, Magda, I'm gonna take a 10. The line groaned more as Carson gestured Caroline toward a swinging door that would bring her behind the desks. Is this allowed? She asked. Nope. She was definitely not going to make it to the Java spot on time. They got in the back, where Carolyn expected to see books. But instead she saw a studio apartment. What is this? Carolyn asked. Oh, it's not much, but they let me live here. I don't think I'd be able to stay in this town much longer if I didn't. Carson was right. Rent is ridiculous. Oh, so what is the other dragon book? Other dragon book? Oh, right. Yeah, so it's not actually a book. I think you might want to sit down. Carolyn, for some reason, did exactly what she was told. Carson probably could have told her to run into traffic and she would have listened. Carson was her exact type of sexy. So, listen, I think you're the most beautiful girl in the world, Carson blurted out. What? Carolyn said. Yeah, and I get it if you don't think the same about me, but I wanted to show you this. Carson unbuttoned their shirt and revealed beautiful, shiny, and scaly skin. What am I looking at? Carolyn stuttered, still barely over the fact that Carson was as attracted to her as she was to them. Carolyn, I'm part dragon. Carolyn gasped. Don't be afraid. There's tons of us. We're safe. I just never thought someone as perfect as you might be willing to accept me. Show me more, Carolyn said boldly. Carson removed their slacks and revealed the exact human parts that Carolyn liked. She was definitely not going to make it to the Java spot on time. They made sweet library love, and when Carson finished and came, they breathed fire, which was actually super scary, and it caused a bigger fire in the library, and lots of people died. The end.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, for being a subscriber for all this time, and we really appreciate your support, and we hope you liked your story.
So, like a little bit more smutty. I'm not fully there yet, but who knows? Maybe one of the next subscribers will bring something filthy out in me.
Ooh. All right. And let's take a break because I'm all hot and heavy from that.
Rawr.
Welcome back, dear listeners. Hey, Cass.
What's up?
I know sometimes we have like good stories, sometimes we have like weird stories, but sometimes we just have ones that just don't quite hit.
Sometimes they're not trashy enough, and sometimes they're too trashy. But either way, oftentimes we just, we cut that.
And we cut that.
So these are stories that, again, just didn't quite have the juice or too much juice, and we're just going to kind of do some headlines, and you can seek the information yourself. From themessenger.com, man accused of masturbating in Target claims it was a dildo, not his actual penis. You must be fucking stupid right now. It's dildo on my penis.
This is a dildo. I wish my dick was this big.
We cut that.
Yeah.
From ABC4.com. Utah man says Grubhub driver accidentally gave him a cup of urine.
This Utah man obviously thinks better of society because the fact that he said, this must have been an accident for sure.
He's got that good Utah energy in him because I'm thinking this man doesn't tip, and the Grubhub driver was like, this is what we all think of you. But I don't know. We don't know. We'll never know because we cut that.
From kitchener.cttvnews.ca, who cares? Kitchener, Ontario Christmas market has been cancelled after organizer gambles away vendor deposits,
Now, she sounds like my kind of lady.
which is why we cut that.
We can't get into my gambling.
Erica, are you ready?
No, I'm so ready.
Well, that's fantastic because it's time for the dumpster fire of the week. Oh my god!
Bum, 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 bum.
Can you get the Olympics soundtrack in here?
I'll find it. Yeah, I found an Olympic sound.
I think that's what it is.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Thank you. From theguardian.com, the first ever Florida Man Games to feature evading arrest obstacle course. But truly, the real story is the first ever Florida Man Games.
Bum, 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 bum. Hey, it ain't the Olympics, but a group of Floridians plan to host a competition.
What's the song?
Uh,
Sorry, I feel like I'm having a stroke. There was at the John Williams thing at the Hollywood Bowl, and
Right.
he wrote the Olympics, and like you watch it because they play Olympics clips while the
Oh, that's
Philharmonic
cool,
plays
yeah.
it out loud. You get teary eyed and you get pumped, and you're like, USA, USA, USA. It's really powerful.
Did you know that at the original Olympics, like the back in the day first Olympics, that if you lost, they killed you, and the winner only got like the little wreaths, like the laurel wreaths or whatever.
They're keeping that tradition alive in Russian gymnastics.
Heyo. But
Organizers of the Florida Man Games described the competition as the most insane athletic showdowns on Earth. The games will poke fun at Florida's reputations for producing strange news stories involving guns, drugs, booze, and reptiles, or sometimes a combination of the four. As we said in the headline, one of the obstacle courses is an evading arrest obstacle course where contestants will jump over fences through yards while being chased by real police officers.
Jesus Christ.
Why
This is
not?
the whitest shit I've ever heard.
Truly.
The Category 5 cash grab, in which participants try to grab as much money from the wind-blowing machine, which that sounds fun as fuck. I've always wanted to go on one of those machines. And then the self-explanatory beer belly wrestling.
You know what I think of those wind blowing machines?
Yeah.
They can't be that easy because otherwise they wouldn't exist, right? With
Oh,
the
no,
money.
they're like hard. Yeah.
My favorite thing though, this is maybe like bad, but my favorite thing is like when they have them at like a science museum or just like wherever or amusement park, and people like go to encourage their kids, like go in there. And they're like in there excited. And then they just like freak out because it's really scary and really loud in there. And so you just have this like two kids being like wind blown, like huddled together, weeping while the parents are just like laughing and filming. That's really funny for me.
Yeah. Those are always, I don't know what brand of parenting I subscribe to because I don't have children, but it's somewhere between like, we're going to scream at them and beat them every day for little infractions and this like gentle parent. There's some middle ground that I'm a part of, but
Most people are.
I do find, again, don't have children, never should. But the setting your kid up to do something that they're not gonna like is a parenting system. Like, you want to do the wind machine? Go ahead, get in there. Like I do find that funny, and I hate that about myself.
I mean, they gotta ask. They must ask. I don't think any parent is like, get in there. I bet that the kid sees other kids or adults in there loving it, who maybe have done it before, know what to expect, and they go, oh, I'd like to do that. Anyways, so general admission tickets to this event are going for $45, and there's two former stars of the 1990s television show American Gladiators who have agreed to serve as referees. I don't know about you, but this would be enough to potentially get me to go
To Florida.
And
Yeah.
It's February 24th, 2024. So, I mean, when we have jobs again, maybe like next year,
There's
we'll go
a
to the second annual Florida
Yeah.
Games.
There's a weaponized pool noodle mud duel, evading the arrest obstacle course, the Category 5 cash grab, a catalytic converter, 2 bikes, and a handful of copper wires race against time.
Oh my God.
Oh my
You're in
god,
head to-
Nitro! Nitro is the gladiator that's going to be one of the referees. Okay, I'm going to this year's. I'm going to 2024. Ice and Nitro. Okay, Nitro was always my favorite. A team
right.
registration. Let's see what it. All right, here's a call for Patreons. Get us to the Florida Man Games. Call to Patreon. 2024 is it's hard for the planning. Get us to the Florida Man Games for 2025. Get us to the Florida Man Games for 2020.
I want to be.
Maybe
I
we'll
don't
do
want to be a referee, but
sponsorships.
I would
Ooh.
love to be like a spectator or whatever. Give me a microphone. Like, let's cover it. I'm ready.
I'm signing us up to see what the sponsorship packages are like. What's our budget?
I don't know.
Let's put $150 just to see what they say. Contact us.
Hilarious.
All right, we're getting in. I mean, I think Trashy being a sponsor of the Florida Man Games is a natural marrying. That's a natural relationship. But
It checks out.
oh
For
god,
sure.
God, I want to go.
Under the FAQs, number 4 is, do I have to be an athlete to compete? And it says, being athletic is not required at all. That's fun.
Being a Florida man though is athletic because again, you never know when you're gonna have to steal a catalytic converter and wrestle it out the mouth of a gator.
Yes, but I mean, our bath salts the steroids of a Florida man.
That's doping. No bath salts allowed.
No doping for other than like cheap beer for the Florida Man Games. I mean, God, it's already been infiltrated by cheating. I just can't handle it. Erica, what are you hoarding?
I'm hoarding the podcast You're Dead to Me. It is a BBC4 history podcast that has a really fun dynamic. So it's the host, and they'll pick a theme like the Jacobites or Cleopatra or the War of 1812. I don't know what these things are, but they'll pick a subject and they'll have an actual historian and subject matter expert. And then they bring on a comedian and they essentially tell the story. The historian and the host tell the story to the comedian. The comedian makes like reference, but at the end they quiz the comedian. Ooh-wee. And it's a funny
To see if
banter
they're
about
paying attention.
well, it's a point of pride.
There will be a quiz.
There will be a quiz, but it's very funny. I've learned about some interesting things that I'm like, oh, I want to do more research on that now and do my own thing. But it's just a fun way to get, gossip about dead people, which is what history is, as we've decided. And I just like it. It's called You're Dead to Me. And what are you hoarding, babe?
I'm hoarding a TikTok account. The TikTok user's name is Conscious Chris, which I don't want to lose you yet. And maybe I should have done a little bit more research because I didn't realize that was his name, and it even turns me off to see Conscious Chris as the
what is he like a divine masculinity teacher?
Hear me out.
I'm sorry.
No, I know how it sounds. Okay, no, it looks like it's just food. Okay, so what he does is he does quick Trader Joe's meals. And they're usually like maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 ingredients, all of which you can get at Trader Joe's. They're all vegan, which, I mean, whether or not that's how you roll, there's substitutes in here, I'm sure, if you don't want it to be a vegan recipe. But anyways, I've made now 2 of the things that he has on his like TikTok, and they've both been bangers. And it's just super easy because it's like he shows you exactly what to get from Trader Joe's and exactly how to cook it together. I did recently, it was a pumpkin gnocchi. Like, and it's like you make this sauce from scratch with like a holiday hash that they have and this vegan cheese and some vegetable broth, and then you put it with this pumpkin gnocchi. Bing, bang, boom. It ripped. It was so good. So Conscious Chris on TikTok. Again, his name is a vibe, but it looks like it's just a food blog. And if he starts to come on here and start saying weird stuff, I'm sorry, I didn't see it coming.
Great.
What
Great.
what are you throwing away?
Okay, I'm throwing away. Let me think. how to
Also,
phrase
let me
this.
just say really fast, sorry. If you live in an area or a state where there's no Trader Joe's, I'm sorry. I guess this wouldn't matter to you. But
Don't
I do.
apologize. Don't apologize.
All right. I just,
That's not how we have to be inclusive. We're not going to apologize for talking about Trader Joe's. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just saying.
Okay. No, you're right. You're right.
Okay, I'm apologizing. So there are certain circumstances where you are only over the phone dealing with customer service, right?
Yep.
And then some of those interactions you are essentially only in person to deal with, right?
Okay.
And listen, be nice to service people. But if you are going to be a see you next Tuesday to somebody that you could do it in person and you choose to do it over the phone, get out of here with that. Like if you're going to be an absolute dirtbag hag to me, come in person. I want to be able to look you in the eye. I want to
So
be I want to be able to look at your imitation Prada sunglasses and stare you down while I smile and say, "Let me see what I can do for you," while you're being an absolute cunt hag.
You're on team say it to my face.
Say it to my face. Don't you call me on the phone. Don't you call me on the phone. But yeah, I have just been dealing with that and I'm like, I really wish I was in person to watch you like really figure this out, how to like Karen your way. You know what I mean? I just don't like it if you're going to, again, sometimes you're only dealing with customer service on the phone, but if it's an in-person type situation, come at me, brah. Like,
People get brave. People get brave.
come at me, brah. Yeah.
Sure.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's me specific, but if you're going to be big and brave, come do it in person, So,
Sure.
that's me. That's me. What are you throwing away?
So I'm throwing away this. There's a very small, specific muscle in my ass.
Okay.
In my right ass, specifically.
Sure.
Apparently, our glutes, it's not just like when it's like, oh, you're going to work out my glutes.
Mhm.
You don't just have like one giant glute muscle because
Oh.
with anything, everything is complicated. So I've got one small, specific one in my right butt
Sure.
that, according to a physical therapist that I recently met with, that was referred to at the doctors, apparently that is the root of all my problems in my life.
Right.
Is this
Every
one
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, this one specific muscle in my right ass. So I'm throwing that out because
Brave.
now I have to do these like sit to stand squats with a band 2 to 3 sets every day
Mhm.
for the next 2 weeks. And apparently all my problems are going to go away.
God willing.
I don't know. By the way, I don't know if you've ever done physical therapy and specifically if it had to do with your back, but wow, is it hard not to fart.
Yeah, it is.
Because they're fucking digging into all of like your prime fart areas.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
yeah.
if you're hurting me and you're making my spine release, I'm gonna blow your socks off if you don't cool it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like he had to grab on both my hips and like push in, and I'm like, you're like, it's like you're cocking me like a shotgun right now. I don't know.
You're ready to go. You're ready
It
to
was
go.
tough. It was
Yeah.
tough.
Outside of your physical therapist, Cassandra, where can we find you?
You can find me on the surface of Venus, a place where the carbon dioxide is 96.5% and there is 0.007% of argon. To say it is inhabitable would be a lie.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Where can people find you? And more importantly, where can they find this podcast? I'm sorry, you're important to me as well, but I'd like them to find the podcast.
You can find me at Iconic Erica Curry on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky Threads, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But you can find this podcast at Trashy Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky Spill. And then our website is trashytrashypodcast.com. That's where you can find links out to all of our things, anywhere to listen. Now, you can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast. If you click that, you will be able to listen to ad-free episodes, our recaps of The Golden Bachelor, and at the $200,000 a month level, we will stop doing a public podcast entirely and only we will stop doing the public podcast in general and only podcast for you daily. So, dear Saudi princes, residents of Dubai, Jeff Bezos,
perverted weird billionaires,
billionaires, Elon Musk, we will suck your metaphorical dick all day long. If you
don't promise that for no $200,000 buys you a private podcast. We need to negotiate the price of any metaphorical dick sucking. Let's just be
let's
clear.
Take this business meeting offline. As always, use Trashy.
No, I want to.
Trashy Podcast, alltimeless.com or patreon.com/Trashy Podcast. Now, Cass and I have some business to wrap up. Use code Trashy for discounts everywhere. All of our fine services, supporting the sponsors that support us, help keep the store going. Supporting us on Patreon helps the podcast keep going. And we're going to have mediation soon because we disagree about this $200,000 a month level.
I don't know what you're sucking metaphorical dick for, girl. But I got a family.
For $200,000 a month, I think we can work it out.
Oh, is it $200,000 a month?
Yeah, that's the Patreon level. Yeah.
Oh, babe, I for some reason I thought it was like $200,000 a year, and I was like, we're just splitting a 6-figure income.
No.
Now that you say that, all right, no, it's best we take this offline.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's taxes, but anyway, we're still getting a clean cut. So,
oh God, not taxes.
Patreon levels start at $1.99 a month. And that goes for Apple podcast subscriptions and Spotify subscriptions. We're working on those, but Patreon is live today. Thank you so much to everyone that has signed up. It really means the world to us. We're working on some of this stuff. I'm but a simple person with long COVID trying to figure out complex things that we don't have a network behind us. We don't have a producer. We're working on ourselves. We're working on it, but we're damn proud that you're all here. And so grateful that you listen. Hey, Chaos.
What's going on, girl?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.
$200,000 a month.
It's $200,000 a month, and then
but that's still it's like what if we split that in half? It's like 1.2 million because $100,000 times 12.
Sure. But then we got to take taxes, which is like 30 to 40% for California. But like, we're still going to clear like I don't know.
Yeah, but think if we just put that money to charity and then we like do a bunch of tax loopholes. I mean,
well, we can't do it directly to charity. We would have to start like an LLC and then
maybe we could do a foundation.
A foundation. Yeah, I was gonna say we could do a
Trashy foundation.
Hire us as the directors of the foundation, so we're essentially paying ourselves.
This is good ways to do tax fraud. Wait, are we still recording?
Oh shit! Bye. Ugh.